Hey there, everybody. It's Will from Tip, and I'm actually going to share the secret sauce for Yelp ads and Google ads that we have that are helping our clients get, 50 to 500 leads depending upon their budget. It's actually very simple. So if you do your own ads or you're doing ads for somebody else, please consider adopting something like this because this is what gets good results. Now, I want to put a caveat out here and a shout out. The caveat is Yelp and Google ads, they work, but you have to know how to operate within their platform. I'll get to that in a second. The second thing is thank you to AD Green Gutters for allowing us to display this information so that people can understand the differences between reach versus residences, household income, and so on and so forth. We're killing it with them, and we're very appreciative. Now let's get into it. Okay, so what you need to know is the platforms are going to tell you about reach in a city. Like maybe there's 135,000 people, or there's 500,000 people in that city, and it's going to put it as a high priority. But what you need to know is how many homes are there, right? You're likely not selling to apartment complexes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put all the cities, and I'm just going to go ahead and sort this. These are all the cities of the client. This is what I would do. I type them in there, and then the next thing that I do is I go to Google and I type in how many homes are in Agora Hills, and I go through all these cities and I put the numbers in here. Why? Because if you're doing home services for roofing, gutters, plumbing, HVAC, landscaping, if you're selling homes, you're not selling to people. You need to know how many homes there are to service. So it's not about how many people live in there because you might have 10, 12 people to live in a home. Or you might have 100 people that live in one residence because it's an apartment complex. So find the number of homes and put them under the residence tabs right here. The next thing you're going to do is what's the average household income for Agora Hills, and do that through every one of the cities. This is what we do for our clients. So now what we can see is I can filter this and say who has the most amount of household income. The next thing I do is I go in and I search and I put the address of the client or of your business, okay, and then TO2 and the name of the city. And you'll find the distance. So we can see, for example, who's the closest. Because remember, when you look at the amount of time that it takes to travel, you can only do so many jobs in a particular day, and then you have gas and a lot of different operational costs. So I want to know who's close to me. That's also really important for the near me searches. As we're looking at Google Maps and such. But I want to know who's closest to me, who I can service and possibly do tomorrow for next day gutter installation or a consult or whatever it is, and meet them over coffee. That's the thing I want to do within our ads. I want the closer to dominate an area, and then I want to spread out. Here's a key thing on your ad budget. Let's say that you have $1,000 that you want to spend in Yelp or $1,000 in Google. You do not want to spend $1,000 on a huge region. You want to condense it into a number of top 10 cities or top 5 cities, or even just one or two, so that you can get more leads from that. Your ad budget will look at, if I have 1,000, I'm going to spread it across 20 cities, you're going to have less leads. That is just paid advertising 101. So here's how I rank it. Your average score goes into total rank. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the average. So how do I find the average for each one? I'm going to go into residences and find out who has the most amount of homes. And then I'm going to go into homes rank right here, and boom, I'm going to go ahead and type in 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go down here, and I'm going to follow this down so I can see the rankings of which cities have the most amount of homes. The next thing I'm going to do is income. So again, sort Z to A or highest to lowest, depending on what platform you're using. And I can see that Malibu has the highest, then Agora Hills, and so on and so forth. So then you can look at the income rank. I did the same thing. I'll get into what the yellow is in just a second. Now I go into distance. And remember, the lower the better. So the average score is literally, if we go into the formula, equals average. So I can go ahead and do equals average. I copy that and I spread it on down in here, and you can see the same numbers. So this is my score. I go into the score, who has the lowest score, and you can see all of my ranks in here. Now, from this point is when you need to think as a business owner. So I'll get on a call with the business owner and I'll go ahead and say, okay, listen, this is what we need to do. I have your top 10, I have your top 20, and I have your the remaining beyond that. I usually say, hey, it's about $1,500 or $3,000 paid advertising to get 10 cities on the most home services. Some areas like Atlanta, New York City, Miami, they could be higher than that. But we're going to go ahead and get leads at about $10 a pop, 10 to 12. Sometimes we can drive it down to 8. But I start with 10, and I say, okay, out of the following 10 cities, let me go ahead and highlight them here. Which of these cities do you think is not a good investment based upon your knowledge of your market? See, this is where you go the extra step. You don't just go on stats, you ask the business owner. Or if you're a business owner, in this particular case, he said that Santa Clarita is not a primary city based upon his 10 years of experience. So I go ahead and put it in red to remind myself. And then I go into the top 11 through 20. And I say, okay, out of Reseda all the way down to Westlake Village, which of these cities do you have a poor history where there's not a whole lot of jobs and the stats are lying to us, okay? Because sometimes stats can be confusing. And he said Reseda, Winnetka, and Canoga Park. And this is what you would do. You go ahead and just go right into the fill color, okay? And you can change it. Blue usually means blue ocean, the best of the best. Green means they're pretty good. And red means I'm going to pass on the ads, okay? So you do this, and then what you can do is then just drag these things back into the pink. So I'm just going to go over here and drag all these into my top 10. Even though they have a ranking sometimes that are higher than top 10, I want to know what to put in my ad. So I go in through here, and I'm going to go ahead and take green and go through here. Now, you can use sorting abilities, but a lot of us are not great at Excel. So I'm just doing it by hand to show you. So now I have my top 10. This is where I'm going to put the ad in first. And I'm going to let this ad run for about anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to dominate these 10 cities. Now, as these cities don't produce, if I don't get any leads from Calabasas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag Calabasas out and I'm going to put in Encino or Sherman Oaks based upon what the client wants to do. And this is what you would do each and every time. Now, let's talk about some outliers that are really important, okay? If we know that the income rank for Law Canada Flint Ridge is 3 and it's 9 here, it's a top 10, or Malibu's really high, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I might say, you know what, based on just the ability to pay, I'm going to move Malibu up and I'm going to take, I don't know, Studio City out or whatever it is. This is how you consistently modify your ad based upon the leads that you're getting. So, I know it was a little bit longer. It's about 7.5 minutes here. But this system right here, you guys can go ahead and make this, create this yourself. Or if it's just too much to handle, go ahead and contact us. But I wanted to give you insights to understand Yelp and Google. It's not about the reach and the number of people in the city. It's about how many homes if you're doing home services. The next thing to look at is how much is the household income. Don't sell to people who have a household income of 30% of what your service is. It's a huge undertaking for them to agree to that. So go after the cities where the most amount of money is. And I hate to say that, we want to help everybody, but we are running a business. So this is the system that we use and consistently modify to get better and better results. Then we go into the platform and get the information. But this alone is a great starting point for any home service or local business. You want to find the number of homes, the average income, and the distance, and then give it a score, and then rank, and then modify as you see fit. I'm hoping that this was really helpful and useful for you guys. Thank you so much. God bless and have a great day.